Welcome to Mission SONlight Chat from the Media Missionaries of Network 7 Media Center. We are not in our usual recording studio at our headquarters in Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the U.S. We are in the U.S., but we're in Kansas City. We are doing a special edition of Mission SONlight Chat from Kansas City, Missouri, ASI, and here in the convention exhibit hall. So there's a lot of noise, people coming and going, checking out the different booths for ASI. My guest today, we're going to introduce in just a moment. I'm Christopher Beeson. Our Director of Production and Engineering today is Jordan Wagner. And our guest is Mindy Schumacher. Did I say it right, Mindy?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make sure I get it right. Mission SONlight Chat is a nonprofit Christian media organization. So if you'd like to know more about us, visit missionsonlight.org. And if you want to give, click donate. Thank you in advance for whatever you're led to give. And we appreciate your prayers, your money, or any combination. We are truly grateful for you, and we appreciate whatever you would like to do for this work. Now, just one more thing before we get into today's program. We need to grow. So we want to touch more lives for Jesus. We want to share the story of Jesus to spread the truth as it is in Jesus. So please, if you can't give your time, you can't give your prayers, you can't even give money, would you please share the link to today's program with a friend or even an enemy. Post it on your social media, text it to a friend right now, even snail mail if you want. But share Mission SONlight Chat today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mindy, thank you for joining us today. So you are with an organization called Rise Up.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and a little bit about yourself.
Rise Up is a ministry founded and run by young people that are passionate about ministry and spreading the love of God. So we were born and founded in 2020, right in the heat of COVID. So that presented its own challenges, but ones that God had equipped us for long before we knew what he was doing in our lives. So it's interesting to trace God's hand through all of our life. Each of the team members, have their own incredible story. Mine started when I was born and raised in North Dakota, which not a lot of people know of North Dakota. It's kind of off the beaten path, but it's home for me. I love it. And just a personal note, North Dakota is my last of the 50 states. I'm going there next year. So okay, well, you're going to have to look us up. Come visit. It's a beautiful place, but not a lot of people come up that way.
Well, my wife and I hope to get up there next year, so maybe we'll get to check out your part of the country.
Yeah, for sure.
For those that are watching internationally, North Dakota is in the middle and the northernmost area of the United States, and it's a very wide-ranging area with not a large population.
No, it's very rural.
Yeah.
So I was born and raised on a farm and ranch. And so I feel like that really set a lot of the groundwork those early years of where I'm at now. We're told that you raise up a child in the way that they should go because those early years are so important. And my parents were very intentional with how they raised us. We learned a lot of life skills early on. We were out helping a lot in the fields and with the cattle and the ranch work. And there's so many opportunities. Like God tells us for a reason that nature is like the main lesson book for us. Of course, the Bible's first, nature is second. And in everything, there was always opportunity to learn object lessons. And having parents that were intentional with the ways that they shaped your life and brought God into everything just carries into your older years to where now I want to find God in everything, search for it and all that. So we were homeschooled, we worked outside a lot, had lots of opportunities for mission and service because of the rural small communities and things like that. And so growing up, I was raised in a church that we were the only kids. Halfway through, another young kid, a single child came, and so he was a best friend to my brother, but it was just us. And so a lot of people that I know, they're like, well, church isn't interesting, or I was the only young person, there was nothing to hold me there. But for us, it was such an opportunity for leadership at such a young age. And to have a supportive church family that literally poured into everything that you would bring and was so supportive is what really shaped the leadership qualities or aspects in my life that has led to now as an adult wanting to serve God in those capacities too. And so just kind of a shout out to those who may be the only young person in their church or their family is the only young family. There's so many opportunities, like you can look for the good in everything. And there's so much opportunity for leadership and growth in those situations
Sure.
as well. So those were some of the early years.
So what exactly is Rise Up? You mentioned there's a team. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so the team is composed of young people who have very similar stories to me, where they were all passionate about doing ministry from a young age. And so when we found each other, it was after a national event like this, where the church held this revival meetings and conference. And so we came home and we all started visioning, and each young person had a story that was similar, where they were craving for fellowship with other young people that were like-minded, who came from small rural areas, or even if it was in a rural area, they felt alone in their spiritual walk. And so with that mindset, we all came into ministry, and we started looking at what it was that shaped us and why we were passionate about ministry still. And then we look for ways to impart that and inspire other young people in that same direction. And so Rise Up is a ministry, like I said earlier, founded and run by young people who are passionate about equipping their peers for ministry.
Right.
So all of us, like I said, could point to friends, family members, people that we wish were in the church still, that when they became young adults, their faith wasn't their own, and it was just something that they had grown up doing. So Rise Up focuses on reaching into those communities in practical ways.
Okay. When you say like-minded, give me a little more of a definition of what like-minded is. What are you finding in common? Is there a certain age group? You mentioned more rural areas. Just describe that like-mindedness.
Like-mindedness means that we're passionate about serving God in whatever we do. So, if you're passionate about music ministry, equipping and training in that area, if you're passionate about media and technology, whatever it is, the like-mindedness is the sold out for God, knowing that your life, no matter where it will go, is going to be focused on ministry and sharing Jesus.
So, less of me, more of him.
Yes.
He must increase.
That's a great way of saying it.
I have this catchphrase sometimes when I preach the sermon. Instead of saying he must increase, I must decrease, I will say he must increase, I must disappear.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, just
Disappear
take
completely.
me out and just let me not be seen, let you be seen completely in anything. Let everything go to him. Yeah, I like that. Rise Up. And do you have a website?
Yes, we do. riseupyoungadults.org. That's
Okay.
our website.
riseupyoungadults.org. We'll mention that again as we go along. We want to talk about why you're here at ASI and what your experience has been. I mean, for those watching, this just happens to be the first day, so you're just really getting your toes, but any history, any experiences you can share, connection with ASI, we'll talk about that in just a moment. We're going to take a break here for 60 seconds or so. Just a reminder, missionsonlight.org is a place where you can learn more, and you may give there too. So I want to ask you again, share the link to today's program or the entire show podcast platform with a friend by text, social media, or even by email. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, however you may be taking in, absorbing the program today, would you share that? Take a moment during the break and share it with someone. We'll be back with more Mission Sonlight Chat. Welcome back to Mission Sonlight Chat. My guest, Mindy Schumacher, the North Dakotan from the rural middle of nowhere, north central United States of America. Just trying to give the international audiences, I mean, some people in the U.S. may not even know where North Dakota is. We just We don't hear a lot from that rather desolate area of the U.S., but there are some really cool things up there.
It really is.
I think, if I remember right, the Teddy Roosevelt National Park is up there, and I am and my wife are national park travelers on our way to ASI. We're here in the exhibit hall. We traveled to 2. We've got 4 more planned to travel to on our way home.
Wow.
And as I mentioned to you, we're going to hit the national park up there in North Dakota next summer. That's our plan next summer.
Yeah, don't forget the International Peace Gardens up there.
Okay.
Canadian border.
All right. Very good. Of course, the International Camporee is going to be not far from there, respectively, in Gillette, Wyoming next year. So we've got a connection to that trip. So we're thinking we should definitely go ahead and get that 50th state, North Dakota. We'll see how it works out. So earlier we were talking about the history of Rise Up, which is the ministry that you are the president of, and you have a team that you work with. Without naming everybody, tell me, what size team are you talking about? 3 people, 10 people, 20 people?
8 people.
8 people. Okay, so you've got leadership of 8. And in speaking with, I think it was Kenny earlier, he mentioned that you've had, and just so everybody knows, we are in a exhibit hall where there's music. There'll be announcements for sure here in a few minutes. So as you hear that background, enjoy the beautiful music as we chat. He mentioned, Kenny did, that you have, I want to say, started with maybe 20 or 30 young adults coming together, and now it can be a couple hundred, maybe 300 young adults coming together. And you have a conference next March in 2024. Depending on how long we run this episode, it may already be 2024. But tell us a little bit more about the background and the urge, the move of starting Rise Up, and how people can connect with the ministry.
Yeah. So one thing that I just want to highlight is that ministry is something anyone could do. We literally got together at potluck. We came together, some of us had responsibilities in other churches, but all of us came together with a prayer for ministry. My personal prayer was being in a new state, new area. I was in Colorado at the time. I didn't have some of that network like I was saying at home where I had leadership opportunities. So I very specifically started praying, God, I want to do ministry. I want to serve you, but I'm kind of a fish out of water in a new state. Give me an opportunity. And it was interesting because as we got together, everybody had some type of prayer like that in their heart. So we got together after potluck and we started brainstorming, and at that very first meeting, we were like, okay, we started voting on positions. Everybody, we have like missions and evangelism, president, secretary, treasurer. We just started throwing out the main positions, and we started running with it. Like from there on, we've just been doing whatever God puts in front of us, and my mind is blown continually to see where He's led in just 3 years.
When you leave Him in charge,
yeah,
He charges forward, doesn't He?
He blows our minds. So we started local, and we just started visiting local churches and being like, hey, we're coming. Can we help you with your church service? Can we meet with your young people? Can we network? Just, spend time with them. And it started locally, and within 2 years, we rebranded our official name because we were in all 4 time zones very quickly. So God is just blowing everything, and that kind of leads into why we're here at ASI this year.
Okay, tell me about that. That was my next question.
Yeah, so we're here at ASI because we've had the opportunity to partner with ASI, Reach the World Next Door, and NC for Y, which is New Connect for Youth, a local organization here in Kansas City. And so we partnered with them to do the pre-conference mission trip, one of the pre-conference mission trips here at ASI. So we came in on Sunday, and we had the opportunity to work with immigrants and refugees in the community to share Jesus and do a back-to-school program and learn about how to reach different people groups.
Refugees from where?
We had them from all over. There was Africa, the Middle East, Asia, like everywhere, literally. Yeah, too many to name.
And you were working with Reach the World?
Yes, we were partnering with them.
So literally, you were reaching the world.
Right
Wow,
next door
that's
here
excellent.
in Kansas City.
So this was your first time to come to ASI then?
No, this is our 3rd year.
Okay.
Yeah. We started coming 3 years ago. That was my first year coming to ASI. I had watched it on 3ABN, and you hear about it, but I came and experienced it in person.
So for those watching online who may also watch ASI on 3ABN or through other online resources, would you say it's okay to just watch, or is there something different about being here for you, for them?
Yeah, watching is a great place to start, but don't leave it there. You definitely have to come experience it in person. My life was changed. I was so blown away and inspired to see what God has been doing around the whole globe, that I even drug my parents along this year. It's their first year coming to ASI. I was like, you have to come experience this.
Wow, awesome. So you had the vision. Usually it's the parents dragging the kids along, but it was you dragging the parents along.
They came quite willingly, but yes, me and my sister brought them along.
Very good. Is your sister involved with Rise Up?
She is. She's been on a lot of our events, a lot of our trips. She definitely is involved.
So is it just 2 children in your home? Are there other siblings?
No, there's 5 of us.
Okay. Well, take a minute. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I have an older sister. I have a twin sister. She's one that's here with me. A younger sister, and we had a younger brother.
Okay, so you're Mindy.
Mm-hmm.
Does her name rhyme with Mindy?
Nope, she's Jody.
Jody.
The DY part at the end is
there you go.
what matters.
Close. But are you identical?
We are.
Okay, so people mix you up all the time?
Yeah, happened a lot at pre-conference trip here.
So I have twin daughters, Jocelyn and Juliana.
Oh, okay.
People still can't, they're in their 20s, people still can't get them, tell them apart. So as I mentioned earlier to our audience, we are in the ASI exhibit hall booth here, and they are letting people know that it's time to wrap up, but we've got a few minutes left here. They're not going to kick us out. One way for people to learn about you. Tell us how people can connect with Rise Up if they hear what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. They want to either connect a young adult with you or with your website. Whatever. How can people connect with you with Rise Up?
So we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have YouTube. So most of the main social media platforms. And then, as I mentioned earlier, our website. So riseupyoungadults.org.
Okay, that's important. Don't go to just Rise Up. riseupyoungadults.org. Is that your handle also on the social media platforms? What is the handle?
Yeah, so Instagram is riseup_youngadults.
Okay.
Facebook is riseupyoungadults.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. If they want to check it out or they want to tell somebody.
Yeah, and they can email us at contact@riseupyoungadults as well.
contact@riseupyoungadults.
Yeah.
With ES.
With S.
.com. Or .org. .org. Okay, let me say it again correctly. riseupyoungadults.org.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. We're going to come back in a moment with a closing thought, but we want to tell our viewers we hope you've been encouraged and blessed by listening to the program today. We have more to come, but we need to take a break. So remember, you can give at missionsonlight.org, and you can share this program with anyone right now. Thank you for doing both or either. We'll be right back with more Mission Sunlight Chat.
Our salvation is a day-to-day matter, isn't it?
The real principle of the Sabbath is reconnecting ourselves with the Creator.
We must learn to abide in Jesus now.
We move ahead with our mission objectives, recognizing that we are serving together the Most High God.
Welcome back to Mission Sunlight Chat. My guest, Mindy Schumacher. And Mindy, thanks so much for joining us today here at the ASI Exhibit Hall in Kansas City. We are enjoying the blessing of all the exhibitors, the networking opportunities, the time with other ministries and businesses who are doing something for the kingdom of Christ, and as the Lord is willing to hasten his coming in his will and his time, of course. Thank you for joining me today. You've been talking about Rise Up. Do you have some future plans for Rise Up? What can you tell folks about what's coming next?
Yeah, we have some exciting things coming up yet this fall and into next year. So we have the opportunity to do an interview at 3BN this fall, which will be airing yet this fall.
Okay.
Then we also are going to be at GYC. So we look forward to seeing all the young people at GYC.
And GYC falls right there between Christmas and New Year's?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep, it's in Seattle this year.
Okay.
Portland.
Portland?
Yeah.
It's somewhere up there.
Yes.
In the northwest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to be up there. And then also, the next thing that we have is our pre-conference mission trip and annual conference in Loveland, Colorado.
Okay.
That's coming up in March. So definitely follow us on social media to learn more about these opportunities coming up.
Spring in the Rockies.
Yes, it's beautiful, and it's over spring break. So everyone can come. So we're going to do a pre-conference mission trip where we're going to be serving at Eden Valley Health and Wellness Institute, and then we're going to be having our annual conference there in Loveland as well for
Excellent.
the weekend.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a great time. I'd love to have
Yeah.
everybody there. And then we also have monthly events. So we have monthly planned events that are either online training seminars to train and equip young people for ministry right in their home churches, and then also where it's a planned outreach activity. So everything is in place, all the ideas are, resources are there. You take that, run to your church, and you lead out in that activity, knowing that there are churches all around the United States doing it at the same time on the same day with the same resources, same instructions,
cool.
everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are some things we have coming up and that regularly are scheduled.
All right. Besides your social media, where they can, check out Rise Up Young Adults, what is the website again? If people want to go there, it'll just look at the gamut of things.
RiseUpYoungAdults.org.
RiseUpYoungAdults.org. Share an encouraging word with our viewers, our listeners, particularly our young adults who might be watching or listening today.
Yeah. So we live in a world where everybody is looking for friendships, relationships, companionships. We're all looking for our purpose. So as we look at the world, we see a lot of the things that are rising up as challenges for young people are for an answer for these things, these life questions.
Right.
And as a ministry and as other young people, you have all of that information. We are told, and we have all the instructions in the Bible that tell us where our purpose lies, what fulfills our hearts. And we're told that it's more blessed to give than to receive. And so as young people, we often miss that because we live in a world that's telling us that it's all about self all the time. So no wonder we're more unhappy than ever before, because we're looking for happiness and fulfillment in the wrong areas. And so serving, giving, reaching, we're told too that there's no greater joy, that we have a work that angels long to do in sharing Jesus' love. And so all of these things are things that as a ministry we're seeking to impart to others. And so my challenge is to you is you have the answers. As young adults, as Christians that love Jesus, you have the answer to what the world is asking and longing for. And don't be scared to live that truth, to share it with young people, because you have the answer to what they're looking for, to some of their biggest questions. And it doesn't take any special talents or gifts or anything. It literally just takes what God has blessed you with, giving you right, developing it, growing it as we should grow our talents, and just using them. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to have it all figured out. We just have to be willing to go. Just have to be willing to serve our peers and other young people.
Amen. Thanks for that encouragement, Mindy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for Mission SONlight Chat. Let's have a word of prayer before we close.
Yes, I love that.
Our Father in heaven, we are thankful for this time that we've been able to connect with Mindy and learn more about Rise Up and be here at ASI and the exhibit hall and just the fellowship and get to know other ministries. Lord, I pray that as she takes this journey with her team, Lord, let them go where you want to go in your will and in your time with each of these activities, with their interviews, with their conferences, whatever their hand finds to do, help them to do it to your honor and to your glory. And thank you for the blessing of being able to share this with our Mission SONlight Chat audience. Please bless them as they're listening right now. May they have received an encouraging word and be willing and more fit to serve you because they've watched. Please help them to be able to share, if it's been a blessing, with others as well, so that more can have and be a part of this conversation for mission and ministry. We pray this in Jesus' name. We give you the honor and the glory. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are the Media Missionaries of Network 7 Media Center. This has been Mission SONlight Chat with our guest, Mindy Schumacher. I'm Christopher Beeson, your host, and our Director of Production, Jordan Wagner, has been our engineer today. Jordan, thank you so much. And we thank our audience for joining us. Thank you for sharing our show with your friends via text, email, on your social media platforms, however you do it. Thank you also for your gifts and your prayers, especially your prayers. That's all today from our studios here at ASI in Kansas City. This is Mission SONlight Chat.